What's going on, goblins? Yeah, you heard me. Seems everybody loves gold content for TBC at the moment, so of course, I am back with a sequel. And yeah, sequels often suck, but not this one. We've got a shuffle to abuse lazy drummers, a reputation beeline that will net you some big gains in the early days, and a consistent early game investment coming up. So let's get it. I always peak too early, or so I'm told, so I'll start with what I think is the most consistent flip you will find from the early weeks, and that's meat. See, cooking has a pretty big place in the raid scene. There are more foods to choose from, and more foods that give certain buffs than the limited array in vanilla. However, as levelers jump through the Dark Portal, they will typically kill Bone Lashes in Terrakar for a 20 kill quest, and then Talbooks and Clefttooth as part of the unmissable Ultimate Bloodsport chain in Nagrand. These kills generate 3 key meats: Buzzard meat for Kibler's Bits, Clefttooth meat for Roasted Clefttooth, and Talbook venison for Hot Spicy Talbook. However, with all the levelling and slapdash auctioning, the price is often suppressed in the early days. Private server data backs this up, but it's pretty common sense. A big shock of supply because it's new content without much demand until people begin raiding, and then a significant rise before midweek premiums and patch day peaks. But more importantly, if you collect the easy to acquire recipes for these meats, you'll make even more per unit. The big sleeper in my view is Kibler's Bits, for 2 reasons. The recipe may not release till later on because it originally released in 2.3, which means the demand for buzzard meat will be very small for a long time, thus further suppressing the price and the price memory that people associate with it. On top of this, you've probably heard that hunters are gigapumpers. Well, all those passers are going to want the extra 20 strength on their pet, so regardless of release time, the demand will be fairly high and consistent as one of the few stackable classes in TBC. The icing on top, of course, is that people drawn to Hunter, or at least the reroll crowd, are going to be super into min-maxing their damage, and Kibler's Bits is essential if you're about that life. The short version though, cram cheap meat at the start of the expansion into your bank like an apocalypse is imminent. My next tip is also related to profiting from hunters.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Maybe I could have renamed this Hunter Abuse Tips, but to get to the point, gem cuts are fairly awkward at the beginning of the expansion. None more so perhaps than getting your meta gems sorted because of the transmute that is needed that competes with the primal might cooldown. The cuts are also rep gated or rare world drops, so all in all an early game hassle. There is a very specific cut though that is going to have more early appeal than others. This is the Relentless Earthstorm Diamond. As you can probably tell, this gem is really good and happens to be the best meta gem for hunters and other agility based DPSs, but the reason hunters are important here is because they are seeking to get their hands on their 4-piece dungeon set bonus, which will last them a very long time because it's just busted. It's a 5-piece set and the legs kinda suck, so they're going to use the helmet, which has a meta socket. See where I'm going with this? See, hunters are incentivized to invest into this set with their gold early on because it lasts a long time. They will want Relentless Earthstorm Diamonds pretty early, but getting it early is a pain in the ass. The recipe is locked behind Consortium rep, which in my book is pretty much the worst rep to grind in TBC. However, if you're all about that gold and really want to be a rich boy, you can beeline to Revered with the Consortium, and you'll be handsomely rewarded by being in a very, very small number of people able to cut this gem in the early weeks, and as such, you'll have the potential to be very liberal, shall we say, with your craft fee. Even as less goblinish players get round to getting the required rep, you will still be able to regularly get craft fees just due to it being a less popular reputation and thus less competition, just broadly speaking. Now for my hunter mains, I do deeply apologise for what has transpired so far, but rest assured the final tip is not going to be as classist. The final thing is shuffling not tied leather into heavy knot-tied leather. Now a rational person would say, yo, how does that even work? Surely people with leatherworking will buy knot-tied from skinners and craft it into heavy knot-tied themselves. And hypothetically, yeah. But in practice, not really. How many people, for example, were goblin engineering in vanilla but didn't actually craft their own sappers half the time? Exactly. And the data shows that there is typically consistent periods where you can profit simply from shuffling knot-tied into heavy knot-tied for drum crafters that are short on time or effort with your leatherworker. And by the looks of it, it's probably not going to be a minor profit either if you're willing to keep track of the market regularly. Alright though, enough is enough. I would usually go for more tips, but not gonna lie, I'd like to share more in the future in different videos, but that's the early climax you should expect from me according to my better half. Thanks for all the love and support. If you want to get in touch or make a suggestion in the comments, all contributions are welcomed and appreciated, but with that said, I will see you next time, hopefully in your notifications.